If you're confused with the number of mind-body methods or approaches that are being proposed over the internet, then this video is for you. So in this video, we assume that you have a mind-body disorder, chronic mind-body pain, neuroplastic pain, also known as TMS, other neuroplastic symptoms. So we assume that you have made a case for your symptoms being mind-body, but you are a little bit confused because you keep seeing different approaches being proposed. So there are people who are proposing a lot of emotional work, feeling your emotions, expressing your emotions, people who are proposing regulation techniques, somatic work, right? People who are proposing certain forms of meditations, others who are proposing other forms of meditations. So I know it can be a little bit confusing, as obviously every teacher, every coach has his own preferred toolbox, and that's totally fine. However, in this video, I'm just going to simplify what you need to be focusing on. So based on these two things I'm going to mention, you're going to choose your toolkit, let's say. So in order to heal from mind-body neuroplastic symptoms, you need two things. One, you need to feel safe in your life, relatively safe in your life. And two, you need to be safe in your body. You need to feel safe in your body. And this takes me to the two components of mind-body work that I personally deal with, that I help people with. And one of them is the emotional work and the alignment work. So feeling safe in your life. So that means that ideally, you're going to have to eliminate certain ongoing sources of emotional distress in your life. So you're going to have to look for areas in your life that create ongoing tension, ongoing frustration, ongoing dissatisfaction, ongoing resentment, anger, okay? Anything that you think about that still causes resentment or discomfort inside of you, or that causes sadness or grief inside of you. These are all emotions that haven't been expressed. These are all situations that you feel a little bit stuck in. So ways to deal with that include things like expressive writing or journaling, which gets you to explore your feelings and your emotions a little bit more, which allow you to get radically honest with yourself about how you're feeling. Because one of the stumbling blocks to recovery is when people are just focused on their symptoms as being the main problem, and they deny certain other things and issues in their life, or they minimize certain issues in their lives. They just say like, oh, there's just normal stress, but it's nothing like the stress that, for example, my chronic pain is causing me. But that's usually not true. Chronic pain is a cover-up. What you're going to have to look at are these ongoing sources of emotional distress, frustration, anger that might have caused the symptoms in the first place. And it sometimes takes a while to get these emotions out. So if you have already journaled and you feel that it's done nothing for you, you probably haven't scratched the surface. I mean, when I look at my journaling, when I start journaling, I find myself first starting out to write things calmly and reasonably. And then after a while, I'm just writing really vigorously, using really strong language, feeling worked up about it. Sometimes I still have rage and anger after the journaling. Or I have moments, I used to have moments when I would erupt in anger, especially towards the beginning when I first started the journaling, okay? If that happens to you, it's because you started to release certain emotions, to uncover certain emotions, right? And until they get fully processed, they can get stronger, okay? So you might feel worse. You might tell me, oh, but journaling has made me feel really angry, I don't want to be an angry person. But most of the time, this is just temporary. You're going to express your anger if that happens. You're going to feel it, to allow it. After a while, most probably, you're going to feel less angry at the situation that triggered this. You're going to feel less angry at whatever you journaled about. So the topic you've journaled about will probably stir less strong emotions in you than it did before. And that's how you know that you're doing it correctly. If you absolutely do not like expressive writing or journaling, at least you have to look at the areas of your life that are causing you frustration, anger, discontent. You have to be honest with yourself about how you're feeling about these areas. Feel those emotions rather than try to downplay them. And if possible, take decisions that are in alignment with your needs, with your values, that respect yourself. If you've been letting other people make too many demands of you, if you've been doing something not because you really want to, but because you are expected to, because you're afraid of disappointing other people, you're afraid of causing conflict, these are all behaviors that cause ongoing distress in you, and you're going to have to take decisions about all of these behaviors to help yourself feel more self-respected, to feel more heard and more validated. Because of course these things will cause tension and anger if you're constantly denying your own needs or ignoring them. Okay, so that is the heart of the work, and it's really simple. You don't need 100 techniques, to get to the root of this. You just need to be radically honest with yourself and to be able to take certain decisions, sometimes small, sometimes big, depending on your situation. The other aspect I mentioned in the beginning of this video is that in order to heal, you need to feel safe in your body. That means that you have to stop blaming an injury, an imperfection, damage, so on and so forth on causing your symptoms. You have to accept that your symptoms are a reflection of your emotional distress, right? Or your symptoms are a reflection of your fear levels and your doubt levels. So even if you've resolved your sources of emotional distress, even if your personal life now is looking and feeling better, the reason why you might still be getting symptoms is because you don't trust your body enough. You don't trust your body with normal activity. If you push yourself a little bit, or you have an active day or an exhausting day, you might be thinking that you've overdone it. That means you're not trusting that your body can take these activities as it used to before you had the symptoms. Remember, there was a time in your life when you didn't have these symptoms, when certain activities were normal for you. They didn't trigger anything in you. That's because you didn't believe they would. But today, because of certain experiences you've had, because of chronic symptoms, you've started to believe that a number of things might be harmful for you, might be causing pain or symptoms, and because of that, you are living in fear. So you have to start identifying these fear-based beliefs. You have to start negating them, setting different expectations, and this is where there are a lot of different tools to heal, and this is where it can be a little bit confusing. But in this video, I just want to get to the heart of the matter. The heart of the matter are your fear-fueled behaviors. Any behavior that sends the wrong message to your brain. For example, if I believe that, that I'm totally fine, I'm getting better, but I'm still not running because I'm afraid that running will cause a flare-up. That is a fear-based belief, and that's sending the message to my brain that I might still have something wrong in my body, an injury, an imbalance that's gonna cause pain. That's not true. If you know enough about mind-body symptoms, you know that most abnormalities do not cause pain. You know that pain after or during activity is typically a conditioned response. And the only way to break that response is to show yourself that you can trust your body. So in that case, bit by bit, I have to work myself up to running confidently with the firm belief that my body is going to be okay. If I'm going to have a little bit of doubt, if the doubt is going to creep in and I'm not going to negate it strongly, then I might get pain during or after that activity. So if you have flare-ups after activity, always look for those sneaky doubtful thoughts or fear-based thoughts that you might have had. Did you believe that it could have been too much for you? Do you often wonder whether an activity could be too much for you to handle, for your body to handle? That means that you're still not feeling safe in your body. You're still not trusting your body. Just to recall what someone else might have told you that might have scared you about your body. Maybe a doctor, maybe a PT, maybe a friend telling you to be careful when you have back problems or leg problems and so on. All of these things might have made you expect a negative outcome, and you have to negate them now. And my best suggestion with regard to this component is to never shrink away completely from activities or trigger. Because every time we shrink away from a triggering activity, or every time we stop doing something just because we start getting pain, we are actually validating the idea that that activity is dangerous. We are teaching our brain to learn and assume that that activity is dangerous. So the next time you're going to engage in a similar activity, you're going to get the symptoms, because this is what the brain has learned. So in order for your brain to learn something different, you have to react different. So let's say pain is coming up while sitting, while walking. You don't just, change position immediately or stop walking or rest immediately. Otherwise, you're validating the idea that that activity is dangerous. Instead, you might keep going slowly. You might want to smile at the pain, say hello to the pain. Because if we smile, if we feel a little bit amused, we can trick the brain into believing that, hey, maybe this is not dangerous after all. Maybe this is fine. And the brain will register this new idea. When we react with curiosity, with amusement, instead of fear, we're teaching the brain new information. The information that now we're okay, that we don't need to be fearing this activity, that we don't need to be fearing our body because our body is okay. So working with your reactions to the pain, working with your beliefs about your body is essential. And there are various tools, various ways to go about this, which is why you can get confused. But always look for the fear-based belief. Always have a look at your avoidance strategies, all of the things that you've tried to put into place to manage the pain, because those are likely all fear-fueled, okay? So bit by bit, you need to be eliminating those, no matter what other people say. If you are not working on slowly eliminating all of those limiting avoidance strategies, you're going to stay stuck. Simultaneously, while doing the emotional work, you are going to be releasing tension in your body, so it will get easier to challenge your body in this way, which is why both components are important. Because if you're just challenging your body, but you're still in a state of distress, dysregulation, because you have, other things that are distressing you, it's not going to be easy, right? Because the brain is not going to be in the optimal state to learn this new positive information. So I hope that I've simplified the process a little bit for you. If you are still confused, and if you resonate with some of the things that I've explained in this video, I do have an in-depth recovery program that you can do at your own pace, at home, online, on your PC or on your phone, that will get you through the process, that will get you to explore these different components bit by bit without overwhelm, that will help you stay committed and explore the tools that have worked best for me and for my clients. It's called the Pain-Free Breakthrough Program, and you'll find more information about it in the description and on my website. With that said, I wish you all the best, and I'll see you again next time. Bye-bye.